We have made it to the top three of the soap operas for October 2021. We're going back to England. We're going with Hollyoaks at number three. Now, let me talk about Hollyoaks in general for a second. Out of all the soap operas that I've talked about or will be talking about for the month of October, over the past decade, only Hollyoaks has been able to be consistently entertaining to me. And there's a lot of reasons. And I'm also not saying Hollyoaks doesn't have its downside because there comes many a points in a year of Hollyoaks where it can get pretty fucking dumb. But as far as entertainment goes, Hollyoaks knows how to bring entertainment. Now, October maybe wasn't as strong as I would have liked from Hollyoaks. They're going through a transition in their producers, especially since their longtime producer has left the show. So there's a transition going on, and it's honestly pretty seamless, at least. It's not crazy like some transitions in soap operas can be. Now, where do I even start with this show? I think I just want to start with another reason why I usually enjoy it so much is because this show just pushes the envelope all the time. I talked about diversity on a lot of these soaps so far, and Hollyoaks brings diversity all the time. They also have a plethora of gay characters, which just makes it already so much different than any other soap opera I have talked about or will be talking about, in that they have a community of diverse characters, and they actually have their own gay community, which is saying a lot for any other soap opera. So I just feel like Hollyoaks has done the best job of, just staying relevant to the times. And they haven't needed the push that all these other soap operas have needed to say, hey, the diversity on your show is fucking lacking and terrible. Hollyoaks doesn't have that. Now, Hollyoaks did have its own scandal in 2020, a complaint from a Black actress, I believe. And since then, Hollyoaks have fixed that problem, at least on screen. I don't know about off screen, but on screen by giving us a plethora of Black characters on this show. There's like 10 Black characters on this show, if not more, at this point. So Hollyoaks goes above and beyond and really always has when it comes to diversity and LGBTQ representation and just all of that. Hollyoaks has always been, in my eyes, at least for the past 2 decades, the gold standard in that department as far as having a diverse set of characters. Now, currently on the show, let's just quickly go through some of these stories that have been happening. None of them are super strong, I don't think, but like I said, Hollyoaks remains entertaining constantly. We have the young kids, really, of Charlie and Ella who are living together because of Ella's mother hooking up, basically. Ella's only 14. That was one of the main stories this month on the show. We had Shaq coming off of learning that Mizpah is his mother and finally finding his father in that process. That was another storyline. We had a little bit of Luke's dementia getting worse. We had the aftermath of Warren killing Brody and Sienna blaming Psycho Summer, even though it was really Warren. And we had more of Martine's breast cancer story and her relationship with Felix. We also had a stalker storyline that I was enjoying, but the ending felt rushed and anticlimactic, and I don't know if that was the transition from the producers or what. But yeah, Timmy had been stalking Perry, had cameras set up and everything. Perry not believing her girlfriend, and then Timmy revealed to Perry basically that he was stalking her. In the end, Fergus killed Timmy out of Nowhere. It was very anticlimactic. I did not like the ending to that story. Some other downers was just Warren coming off of Warren killing again. Warren is basically a serial killer at this point. He's killed a lot over his tenure as a character over the past decade and a half. And his latest, I feel like Warren's latest stint on Hollyoaks is not that good, unfortunately. It hasn't been, in my opinion. They just overdo the character of Warren. You know, he used to be a hell of a villain that I would hate all the time. Then eventually, you know, I mean, I liked him and I hated him at the same time. That's always been Warren, I guess. And I still feel that way, I guess, but it's just not what it used to be. It's definitely overplayed at this point. Another thing Hollyoaks did is they brought back one of their characters from long ago, in the early 2000s. Zara is back as well. So, I mean, what I'm trying to get at is there's just a lot going on Hollyoaks, and that's what I think makes it so entertaining on a daily basis, is you never know what story you're gonna get really. And I'm hoping that with a new producer, this continues because Hollyoaks has been just good at being entertaining for a long time now. Really, to me, since like the mid 2000s, Hollyoaks has probably been the most consistently entertaining soap opera, even if the stories can suck. And there's points where the stories get too stupid for even me and I don't watch for a while, but less so than any other soap opera. I am pretty devoted to watching Hollyoaks. But I want to get back to the black characters for a second because there are so many. They even had a special episode where it was only the black characters like a month or two ago. I don't remember exactly when that happened, but that was nice. We had Toby and Celeste. They are Felix's kids with Martine, and we also have Felix himself. We had DeMarcus, who is another one of Felix's kids. So we have basically a whole black family there, which is great. But it doesn't stop there. You know, typically on a soap opera, you'll either get a couple of black characters, or you'll get one black family, and then that's about it. But they go beyond here. We also have Prince, who returned with his also black fiance. We have Brooke. We have Ripley, who is gender fluid, another, you know, modern tale that Hollyoaks told. So there's just a lot of black characters, and I like that they all have their own thing to do. I do think they need to give the character of Celeste a whole lot more to do. And even Toby now, who's calmed down for being his psycho self. He was a great character until he killed Lisa. That was a little too much for me. So they can fix some of these characters, but I just liked what they've done with this show by just having this many black characters on campus. They also did a great thing months earlier with showing discrimination in healthcare and how Justine was not getting the same kind of response to her health crisis as white characters were. So yeah, for me, stuff like this, stuff with having so many gay characters over the years, has what kept Hollyoaks the gold standard for me. Now, there's some stories that I still don't like the character of Fergus being the main villain and manipulating Warren for so long has grown tired. I don't think Fergus is an entertaining villain at all. This has been one of the negatives to Hollyoaks over the past several years, is they will just have this one main villain who just gets really, really annoying and obnoxious, and they just keep it on for too long. I mean, I've talked about this on the other British soap operas now. That's just a trait of British soap operas, I guess, at this point. But I'm glad that Warren and Felix are working together because Fergus wanted Warren to kill Felix because Felix was getting in the way of their schemes. Warren ended up not doing that because his son talked him out of it. But all in all, Hollyoaks gets number 3 because it stays entertaining. And as a soap opera, I'm easy like that. Just stay entertaining. Not all the stories have to be great. And right now, I would say all the stories are kind of mediocre on Hollyoaks. It's kind of been a thing all year, but it's still been entertaining all year. It's not bad by any means. It's just most of the stories are mediocre, but they've done great with the black characters all year. So big ups on that. For now, Hollyoaks stays at number 3. It probably stays high in my rankings for the rest of the year, but we'll see after that. I'm going to give the producer some time, the new producer, to work her own stories. Because right now it does. This feels like a transition. It's been seamless, but it still feels like a transition. And I didn't like the anticlimactic end to the Stalker story.